All right, welcome to a new episode of Buckets, Boards, and Banner. I'm your host, John, and this is Rob. We cover all the news you want to hear about in the NBA, and we give our opinion and topics. Today's no exception. A lot of stuff that's happened in the past week. Rob, how you doing, first of all?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I know we'll get into it, but I'm anxious to see your thoughts on some of the All-Star selections.
All right, yeah, the All-Star selections. It was a big sports weekend, MLK games. I
Oh,
mean, even non-NBA games. There's a lot of stuff with like the NFL and
oh,
college football, but we're here to talk about hoops. So let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the things you just mentioned right here was that All-Stars were announced here a couple of days ago. So I'll start off now announcing the East All-Stars. So first, what the leading vote getter was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
oh.
Then you have Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, and Tyrese Maxey to round out the starting five for the East. What do you think? What do you think of those first five?
I mean, I think that's pretty spot on. I don't.
Yeah.
You've got I think besides the Bucks, obviously, right? You've got the top four teams represented. I know the Knicks have fallen off, and we're going to hit on that topic coming up. But I think if you looked at it, you're like, those are the top players in the East. Probably, I think you maybe someone off the Cavs. But I think you've got probably. I think I was looking at jersey sales. Like a lot of these guys are right up there with it. So I think it's spot on. I don't think there's anything to be upset about. I'm sure if you're Donovan Mitchell, possibly. Maybe you want to get your name in there. Garland's been injured a lot. I just think the Cavs have been kind of inconsistent. And again, it's 50% fan vote. You got 25% coming from the players and then 25% from media. So I think that's clearly the probably top five players in the East.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's really nothing to argue about too much in the East. I mean Mitchell probably, like you mentioned, like the one that you could argue a little bit for. I mean, he has 29. Yeah, we're just 29 points a game, but all those other guys are pretty solid, and it's pretty guard heavy, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, Jaylen Brown's like a small forward, but yeah, I mean, you got Giannis and a bunch of guards, so
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good to me. I guess we could switch sides here. So that's the East. You want to go ahead and what do we got for the West?
Yeah, so for the Western Conference, you've got Luka, Stephen Curry, SGA, Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama.
Okay. No LeBron, huh?
No Bron. I think that they will find a way to get Bron in the All-Star game. There's no way there's 2 years in a row. He'll be there, not in spirit. He will be there at the game. He will be involved somehow. I would bet there's some injury that he is pushed into if he's not one of the reserves. But Bron is one where he's going to be on the All-Star team. I think he's been out so much this season. It's hard to get a representation for him in the starter as a starter.
Last year he was announced a starter, but he didn't play, right? He was hurt.
Yeah, he sat out last year. So there's no way. I don't foresee a retirement, but there's no way in what is probably the twilight of his career that he's not going to be involved in these games. So
okay,
you'll see him on the bench.
That'll snap his 21-year starter streak. 21 years. That's crazy. That's incredible. But no, I wouldn't want. I mean, LeBron shouldn't start this game. I think his time has come. The one I do look at is, well, I mean, there's no issues with me. Luka, he was actually the lead vote getter in the West. Shea, he's MVP. Jokic, I think he should be better now. I think he's already like doing activity on the court. He should be back, so he should be there.
I think February 2nd, I think, is the date they slotted for.
Oh wow! Okay.
For Jokic to be back, yeah. So soon.
That'd be good. I mean, the teams did great. Kind of keep staying afloat with him gone. But Curry, him, I kind of went back and forth with Curry, mainly because of Anthony Edwards. When you look at kind of like side by side picture of their stats, I think Anthony Edwards is ahead a little bit. Curry's averaging 27.8 points per game, Ant 29.6 assists. Curry's got him 4.9, about one more than Anthony Edwards at 3.7. Rebounds is Anthony Edwards at 5 compared to 3.8, and then games played is pretty similar. But the team record, it's not a big difference, but Minnesota is ahead 27. Well, last I checked, 27-16 to 24-19. And we look where they're at in the West. Golden State's more in the play-in area. And Minnesota, they're right now would be in the playoffs. And just watching these games, we watched, was it Anthony Edwards on Saturday? Man, big shots. And I know Curry's done that a lot. But I feel like this year, I feel like it should have been Anthony Edwards' time to be that starter and kind of take the reins there. As you know, he is a superstar. I mean, the guy's doing incredible stuff. He's been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. I feel like it should have been him. I know when they looked at the last spot there, it was actually between Victor Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards, but the fans voted Victor in, which I don't know. I'm glad Victor's in, but for me, I would have had Ant in instead of Steph. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I think when you're comparing them as guards, yes, 100%. I think Ant deserves it over Curry. It's just hard to say that Steph Curry, he's not sitting like LeBron has a lot this season, so the injuries aren't taking him out of it. So it's hard to call that out as, a point that would pull him out. He's, older, obviously, still doing what he does. So it's tough. I think Ant deserves it. It's hard to say who out of there doesn't. I mean, I think a lot of the talk I've seen also has been like Luka, and I think that's crazy. Like Luka's, the Lakers have slid, but they're still in the hunt, right? Like of not being in the play-in. Then you've got just his overall average, like he's leading the league in scoring. I just don't think that's going to fall into it. Maybe, if Jokic doesn't come back on the same timetable, then you slot Edwards up. He obviously is going to be a reserve. There's no way he obviously doesn't make an all-star game, but I think he slides in there. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with that. But yeah, I think it's there. I think the fan voting between Edwards and Wembanyama was like 4,000 to 5,000. So super slim margin that had it. But again, right, like the fans, if you're upset as a fan, then you should have voted as many times as you could, because that was 50 overall percent, right? And I think the good thing is you look at both these the starters and you're like, like that's who should be in the game. If you're fighting to get another great player in there and it's minuscule on why they didn't make it. I mean, I remember the days when Zaza Pachulia had enough votes to be a starter for an all-star game until they went to the coaches and media voting. So I think the fans got it right. I think who's there is who needs to be there. Ant's going to have a ton of all-star games that he'll be in. I can't see him not making one the rest of his career.
You think this is the last? You think this is the last time he doesn't start, Ant-Man?
Yeah. I just don't. I don't. Again, popularity is crazy. I wouldn't say Ant is the face of the NBA. I think he is a face, but when he's a superstar for sure. I think there's just a difference in being a superstar and the face of the NBA. I think there's a lot of players that are superstars, but were never necessarily like that person that transcended what it was. And Curry is that. Curry, 2-time unanimous MVP. Really, the game is played the way it is now because of what he has done in his career. Like you've got Wemby at 7'5", shooting a crazy amount of threes. And I think the game's expanded because of that. Whereas Ant, he's an amazing player. I think you could look at it, is he in a small market? Is that hampering it? I don't think so. I just think you still got Curry around. You still got LeBron around. You've got the emergence of international stars and Luka and Giannis, and now you've got Wemby and Jokic. So it's tough, to come above that. But I think he's going to be right there. Like, he will be fine for it. So,
I mean, you mentioned it, but like some would argue that Luka won, like Ant-Man. He's a two-way guy, right?
yeah.
He hits both ways. He's great on offense, and he'll take the challenge on defense and try to lock you down. Luka, not so much. Kind of more offensively, or more offensive player. Was that a market thing with Luka being in LA and then Ant-Man just being in Minneapolis? Who would you rather? And also, like, who would you rather have?
It could be a bit of it. I mean, I think recency bias would have people saying, "Hey, I'd rather have Ant-Man on my team or start my team with Ant-Man." Like, people know who Luke is. Like, the same way Ant has taken them to back-to-back conference finals. Like, one of those, like, he lost to Luka. So, I think it's a tough pick. I'd say now, yeah. Like, would you probably want to start your team with Ant over him? I think when you're looking at an All-Star game, you're taking in fan voting. He's in LA now. It's just tailored for Luka to be up there. And again, he's not had a bad year. He's had a pretty amazing year, even with all the controversy with just like his defense all season. So Ant's going to be fine. I think the cool thing is, with Ant's competitive nature, this is gonna light a fire, and I'm intrigued to see like what the second half of the season looks like for him. Like, I want to see the next Wolves Lakers game and what that looks like, or Wolves Wolves and Golden State game, to see if he goes at them.
Okay. So those are the starters. I guess we'll see. What is that? February 16th? How it looks, or is that the weekend, or is that the Sunday? But anyhow, we'll move on to the All-Star format. So what these guys are going to be playing in, they changed the format again. Okay. And I don't know. It seems like they do it every year. Maybe it's not the case, but this year they're doing the format USA versus the world. So I actually looked at it, and initially I thought you just have foreign players and you have USA players. There's actually 3 teams. So there's 3 teams of 8 players. There's 2 US teams, 1 world team. And then they kind of go through a round robin type deal. And I'm sure there's like a point number they got to reach in order to win that game. Or, there's just, I don't know if it's 12 minutes or what it is, but they go through a round robin, and then if they tie, they go through point differential. Initially, it sounded like it could be cool, but they changed it again. I'm not really loving it. I mean, I did. I think honestly they'll probably change it again, but I think maybe for this year it might bring out a lot for some of these American players and the US or these world players actually going at each other. I mean, where are you at on this? Because I don't know. I just think it's just another something they're just trying to pull at, just kind of a temporary Band-Aid to fix this. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought is the U.S. has a 66% chance of winning the All-Star game. So you've got, and then I think, so it looks like each of the teams is going to play the other 2 teams once, right? So this world team, everyone's going to play 2 games, but that world team is going against these teams. You think about that team. So Shea, Luka, I mean, this is a 2K team you put together. You've got Wemby, who's a competitor, Giannis, SGA wants to win. Luka, he's going to want to win on the defensive end. Now he can really kind of get lackadaisical with Wemby and Giannis on his team.
Yeah.
Jokic has come back from injury. He doesn't look like he'll drop 40 on you and look like he did not care about the game. So I wonder what it looks like in this spread. And then also with their backups, right? With their reserves. So I guess that for the world team, you're talking what, Sengun? I'd have to take a look at some of the rest, but I mean,
yeah, I mean, like, they're pulling players that are like, I know they're going to be the best of the world players, But are they getting some players that wouldn't be all-stars if not? Like,
I don't think so. Like, I don't think you're gonna have Jose Alvarado
well,
on the team, but I think like Sengun's a good pick. I would bet he was up there in
mhm.
voting. Like the other one I looked at is like Cat. Is he still considered like he played for Dominican Republic team? I think right.
Yeah. Maybe
So you're
Danny's been playing good
who's
in
that?
Portland. Denny.
Oh yeah. I would say those are probably your three, right? Like you maybe end up with Cat and Denny and Sengun, and that's your eight. The reserves are going to be selected by coaches, so it'd be interesting to see. But I'm gonna watch. I think I would like some type of score for them to get to. But I think with the amount of videos and links to like walk you through what the All-Star game is going to look like, I don't think that's a great sign if you got to explain to people what the format's going to be and to get ready for it. So
Yeah.
not looking forward to that. It does look like 12-minute quarters, or 12-minute quarters, but really it's 12-minute games. So you're going to
Mhm.
jump in and jump out. I'm anxious to see then how do you kind of judge with that limited time who's your All-Star MVP, what it looks like. And still no idea on kind of what All-Star Saturday Night looks like. So I think the NBA is gonna have to go back to the drawing board again with this to really see what they can do to increase like the watchability for All-Stars.
Yeah, I mean, with it being like this, like, why do they even have East and West
Yeah.
voting? Just pick the best or the top 10.
Split it up. Yeah, split it up. Hey, top 24 vote getters and then from the fans, and then you even that out with your coaches and your media. I think if they want to see Zion Williamson and John Morant in there dunking, like cool. Like I think there's plenty of high
Mm,
profile players that I think would prefer not to play in the All-Star game anyways.
yeah,
So
you're
and
like,
I don't think you're gonna see Curry come out and play the full 24 to 36 minutes that he would if he played 3 games for them. So,
hmm.
I think you'll see him play a little, and then if Ant's on his squad, I bet you Ant is in there closing it at the end of the game. So, yeah,
Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see. It could
yeah,
be good. I think you know the world and the U.S. I think there's a lot to play for. There's definitely some bragging rights maybe that
yeah,
weren't.
yeah,
So hopefully, the world team kind of comes out and lets the USA team know, like, hey, we're for real. Like, we really want this, and you kind of see the best out of them. But well, I guess we'll find out then.
yeah.
Uh, so kind of moving on now past the All-Star stuff. So I don't know if you watched the Knicks yesterday. They lost to the Mavs on national TV, 114-97. The Knicks are on a skid. So in the last 11 games, they are 2-9. This team, I'm not looking at the standings right now, but at one point they were in second place. They've lost these last 9 games, and I think they're probably in the third or fourth spot there in the East. I mean,
Three,
wow,
yeah.
what a
They're in
luxury
third.
to lose nine out of 11 and still be top three. What is wrong with the Knicks?
Yeah, they are 2-8 last 10, 4 in a row. I mean, what is crazy there is they've lost 11 games in conference. So I'd have to see like who have they played, but they're 16-6 against the West. So again, like looking at strength of schedule, but man, I don't know. Ever since they won the Emirates Cup, it seemed like they've just slid.
They
Uh,
looked really good during the Cup.
They look great. They look fantastic. They like had a great third against the Spurs, came out, stretched it, won by 10 plus. They looked really good. They looked strong. Brunson looked like he is going to finish the season as a top 5 MVP candidate, first team all NBA, and then from there it's just like it's looked bad. Defensively, they've not looked great. I know they've had obviously injuries to Robinson at times and had to switch
Mhm.
that out. Obviously, Brunson's been injured. They've had Hart out. I think they've struggled to shoot the ball. Well, I think they've dropped a bit there. They're overall. But man, it's just to see them fall again. Not much in the standings, but when you've got the Raptors like coming right at you, the Sixers who've been playing a lot better, you got the Magic improving.
Mhm.
I'm just not sure, like, kind of where it goes for them, right? Like, I think the national TV loss is embarrassing. You've got no AD, obviously. Kyrie's out.
Mavs had 2 starters.
Yeah, Cooper Flag, who at that age
I
healed
mean,
up remarkably fast from a sprained ankle.
yeah. So
um,
I don't know where they go from here. I haven't looked at their schedule coming up. But you just can't keep losing like that, or else, it's New York. The noise gets louder and louder. We already hear news coming out about, maybe they need to make some moves. So I'm
yeah,
I'm not sure what they do next.
yeah, they're next. So they've got Brooklyn tomorrow.
Nope.
Then you go to Philadelphia on Saturday, which will be tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got a trip out west. You're going to play Sacramento, should be a dub for them. Then you got to go to Toronto, and then you're back home against Portland on the 30th, and then you've got a national TV game on February 1st against the Lakers. I mean, realistically, in that
Mm,
stretch, you've got to beat Brooklyn, you got to beat Sacramento,
yeah.
and you've probably got to beat Portland realistically, and that's been a scrappy team. So if you can
Yeah.
go,
They're not, uh,
if you can go 3-3 over your next 6, I think that's what you should be at. But that's just, I mean, that's tough with the way they're playing. Again, they just lost to the Mavericks, right? Who are fighting to get into the play-in with a
mhm.
rookie kind of leading their team. So not high hopes on what they can do. Brunson continues to play pretty well, right? On how he's been, but man, it's just his injuries. Can he come back? Their team, they play a lot of minutes for their starters already, so I'll be anxious to see, like, can they come out of this? I mean, if they had, they've lost 4 in a row now. If they were over their last 12, 6-6, 4-8, but man, like 2-9 and the last 11, like
Yeah.
it's
Terrible.
tough. And the streak is like, you beat the Clippers, you lose to Phoenix, which Phoenix has played amazing. Then they
Mhm.
beat Portland, but you lost to Sacramento, Golden State without a ton of their people
Yeah.
in that game. You didn't have Brunson. Then you come back and lose to the Suns again. You get blown out by the Mavs. Before that, they had lost to Detroit already and Philadelphia. So it's not an easy schedule. But before that piece, then you had just lost to Atlanta by double digits. So that's just not where you want to be right now. Towns has been scoring really well. Anunoby's been a little inconsistent. Obviously, I think early in the season he was maybe a fringe all-star candidate. I'd be anxious to see kind of where he falls there. But they're going to need more production from Anunoby, and they're going to need consistency from Towns and from Brunson as well. So,
Okay. Well, I mean, with the Knicks getting like this, we mentioned it was New York. Noise gets louder. Now there's starting to be some trade rumors going around with Carl Anthony Towns. So some of the teams that are linked to him are Memphis, Orlando, Charlotte, Toronto. Well, let's start here. Do you think New York needs to make a trade, particularly with Cat?
uh, Dan, I'd say this: 2-9 again, and you're in the third seed. Like, I don't think this is a time to get drastic. Um, who would you trade for? Right? Like, I think you made kind of a blockbuster trade to get
Mhm.
Cat to New York, sent
Yeah.
out Randall, who, as much as people have thought about the inconsistency of Randall, he's been all NBA, even though it's third team 2 out of the last 3 years or 2 out of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So again, if you're talking like who's going to take them over the hump, like, I mean, the trade that I would bet New Yorkers would throw out is Cat to Milwaukee for Giannis. Like, does that put you over there? Yeah, I I know Giannis has been linked with anything, and New York is just like LA, and they think that any player in the world, they're gonna slap a Photoshop of them in their uniform.
Yeah.
I just like, if you could get a straight up trade for Giannis, like, of course, I don't know a team that shouldn't and
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't go for that, but realistically, like, what else are you going to bring in that's there, right? Like, Brunson is an All NBA guard. Is he small? Is he going to get hunted on defense? Yes. You've got large wings with size who can shoot. In Anunoby, and then you've got Mikal Bridges. You've got Hart. Like, they're a stacked team. I
Yeah.
just like, how do you put it together, right? Like, they don't rebound extremely
You're like,
well on defense sometimes. Yeah, like they should do great. And I think this is one you just have to wait out. I think after the game they lost yesterday, I know the crew there had Carmelo Anthony on, and he was talking that they probably needed a players only meeting, right, or something
hey,
where they
talk
decided
about,
what should happen. So
former players. They had like a bunch of former players there.
yeah,
Talk about a bunch of guys that are just there, just disappointed. Like these former Knicks players are so sad and disappointed in the product that the Knicks are putting out right now. It's just incredible to see. Like Carmelo, you mentioned, he's and other guys there. So like, man, it's you look at some of these other franchises when they're former players come back, you're not really seeing them talk bad about the team the way like it's happening with the Knicks right now. So that's pretty interesting. And I don't know if that helps or hurts the players that are playing there. I imagine they kind of wouldn't be good. It just kind of get more in your head, but they're pros.
You said it though. Like, that's, if there's two places where you're going to get a ton of media scrutiny, you're going to get a ton of media scrutiny. You're going to get a ton of former players saying stuff. It's New York and LA, right? And I'd say you're probably hearing it more. You've heard it most of the season for LA, but it's been around. Hey, LeBron's her. Luka is Luka, that type of two-way player. But in New York, like, they've had a ton of success. You won the midseason cup, right? Like, I think you're going through a rough spot right now. You're still good in the standings. The teams below you, like, are they on the come up? But like, I think the Knicks are clearly better than the Raptors, and I think the Knicks are clearly better than Philadelphia. So I think it's just up to them to kind of right that ship, and that's with coaches and players coming together. So.
I mean, they won the cup, and also like a lot of people argue they probably should have went to the finals last year against But I mean, obviously the Pacers were the better team, but like you've done all this stuff. Like, what is going on with y'all? Y'all need to just get over the hump. And
I'll say this, the only thing that would push them is this is a free year for you, right? You got the inkling is there. Tatum's going to come back before the season's over, right? Like, they're looking at a post All-Star, but this is the year, right? Like, you've got Halliburton out, so the Pacers are horrible. You've got a really bad year for the Bucks so far, right? Like, are they going to right the ship? Trae Young is now out of Atlanta. They're going to continue to slide. The Cavs are not playing well. This is the time. All the injuries in Philly. If there's a time for the Knicks to step up and take over, like, it's this year, right? Like, you've got the Pistons. I watched them yesterday against the Celtics. Like, they look good. But if there's a year you got to take advantage of it, it's right now, right? Like, you got to go. And if you don't do it, then maybe you do need to make some trade. But I just don't think they're at the point where they need to.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on here now to some more real unfortunate news. Last night, Jimmy Butler in the game against Miami, he tore his ACL in the game. I mean, Warriors won. I mean, I believe they blew out the Heat, but kind of unfortunate. Jimmy Butler's 36 years old, having an ACL tear. We know that ACL tears are very serious, and they typically take about at least a year to recover from. I just worry about him and his age. Is this kind of the end for Jimmy Butler, or could there? I mean, what could we expect? Or I guess we don't have expectations, but there's just the possibility that he may not be the same. Probably a high possibility he won't be the same. But also, like, will he come back at all from this?
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like he took a really hard fall last year, which this one was unique in that like you get an ACL injury, right? And then, but it looked like a fall first, right? And that was interesting to see. I think the tough part with Jimmy is he's not like there's not a skill that it's like he's not a shooter like Curry or Clay, right? So Clay having these kind of really intense injuries was he can still shoot the ball, right? Like he'll get back, he'll get in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy is an attack. He is attack first player. He is a grinder, a guy that's going to get down there, get contact, get
Body.
around. Exactly. Yeah. Like he's known for that physical style of play. So I think it's tougher for him seeing an injury like this because of what he does out there on the court, right? Like Jimmy is not going to spot up for three. He's never been that consistent of a 3-point shooter. He doesn't have necessarily that mid-range game. It's I'm going to get to the cup. I'm going to bully you. I'm going to pull up for some stuff. So that's what's tough to, really say, right? Like obviously he's an NBA player. He's going to have a ton of physical therapy and recovery to go through for it. And you hope with some of the advances, but does that impact his play style? Like probably. Like you're 36. You're probably in the last, at least 4 years of your career. Does that change what it does? I think, for the Warriors, it's a big hit. I don't think he was, like Curry, your team's going to go as Curry does, but it's tough.
Yeah, he's 36 now. So like, let's say he misses all of next season. He'll be that year. He'll be 38, starting the season as a 38-year-old. So, he'll be up there. So hopefully we see him come back and play again. But only time will tell. That was it for big news. Do you want to recap some of the big games of the weekend?
Yeah. So looking back to Sunday, so I wanted to pull up a bit there. We had a couple of the bigger games there. You had a really good win actually for LA. So they won. Yeah, they won in LA against Toronto, double digits. You had DeAndre Ayton with 25. So big night. I mean, I think they needed to have a big night from DeAndre Ayton to kind of put on that nickname with the dominating that he has. So big win for them. I think it keeps them in the win column, especially with all the turmoil going on with LeBron being out and coming back and all the renewed kind of trade talk around.
Did he
Austin Reeves, so.
recently that he was like complaining about not getting the ball? He's like, well, big man can't feed themselves.
Yeah. That was the point. So I mean, I guess you got to go out there and score 25. I wouldn't expect it of him, but I think it definitely was something that you got to take a look at and see. I mean, they threw the ball to him, so if you said all that stuff and then you didn't go score 25,
winning heals all, right?
Yeah. The night before, the big call out there was OKC took another loss. So they went to Miami, lost by 2. Bam with 30, SGA with 39 for that one. And I know we talked about on the recap about San Antonio, Minnesota, more in depth, but I thought that was a really big win for Miami and their hopes kind of getting out of like that play-in territory. I think for OKC, for them, just seeing more, more dents in the armor, right, on what they've got. Lou Dort came back, didn't shoot the ball particularly well. I think SGA, kind of did what he does. And then, that was also, another loss for the Knicks with Phoenix going up there and getting, a 7-point win as well. So I think like those are the big ones we had there. And then from Monday, you had a blowout by OKC coming back in Cleveland. Cleveland's another team just like the Knicks where they've just continued to fall. And if there's a team I think that needs to make a move, it would be Cleveland. I don't think that lineup for that team is working. And on paper, they look amazing. And the product is out there on the court.
So. Garland?
I think, is
that the piece?
I think if you're Cleveland, you move Garland or Allen are probably the two pieces that you can get some back. Yeah, both former All-Stars. Garland's been hurt more this year. Allen has been hurt, but he's just not performed this year. I think those are the pieces you move. I think, though, like you got to get something settled, or how long is it until Donovan Mitchell asks for a trade, right? Or wants to pair up with somebody. I think that's what you have to wait out is, Are you going to keep him there? He dealt with this in Utah already with the Jazz, and he had teams that went into the playoffs and just didn't have the success.
No, I
And
forgot he was at Utah already.
so I think that's who I'd look out for, right? If I'm Cleveland, I'm looking at packaging up Allen or Garland or both and seeing what I can get back in terms of some other players. But that was just, again, like a humiliating loss for Cleveland. And then you've got obviously like Dallas. That's a great win for them. But I mean, if I'm Dallas, I'm not trying to win anything right now. Like I want to get back into the lottery as good as I can.
Going.
Yeah, the game I watched yesterday, I stuck around for all of Detroit and Boston. It felt like an old 90s game. It was a Detroit win, 104-103. Jaylen Brown, I apologize, excuse me, that I did not have him in that conversation because he is amazing. Played great, missed a shot at the buzzer to win it. But they just could do nothing with them. Tobias Harris in front of him, Sir Thompson in front of him. He got to wherever he wanted. He took the shots he wanted. I think Boston shot really bad outside of Jaylen Brown. So Pritchard didn't have a great night. And he didn't have a great showing from Derek White. I think on any other night, I really thought that the Pistons just looked – sorry, I thought that the Celtics looked better than Detroit. Even when they were down 10 at some points, I just thought, man, this is a team that if their shots not falling and they're a heavy 3-point shooting team, so they're going to die by that. But I just thought, man, they feel confident against Detroit. And at the end of the game, I think Detroit has a 7-point lead with like 20 seconds left. And Boston just scored a couple times really easy and then ended up getting the last shot of the game. And I think they're there. So that's, if you get Tatum back after All-Star and he can work himself into something by March, I think Boston, if they're still in the 2 seed, I think that's a really scary team in the playoffs for everybody. Like that team is just firing and they're going to shoot 50 to 63s a game. If they hit 25 of them, like they're going to blow out a lot of teams. So,
since you brought up Jaylen Brown, and we were talking about two-way guards,
yeah.
Who would you rather start a team with, Jaylen Brown or Anthony Edwards?
I'll say this. I think right now I would choose Jaylen Brown. There's obviously the experience. I'd have to look. What is Jaylen Brown in the league? 9 years maybe to like 5 for Ant. So I think there's a change in that, and that's possibly where I would pick from. And it's not the time in the league. It's more so Anthony Edwards and Jaylen Brown can get whatever shot they want. Yeah. I think Anthony Edwards is great at making tough shots. He takes a lot of tough shots. I think Jaylen Brown looks to get himself the best shot, and if it ends up being a tough one, he'll hit it. And I think he uses his body a lot better. He's a little more controlled, I think, on drives, and they both get after it on defense. I think Ant is a little more of a risk taker in that respect, where he is like help side and how can I get to this and block shots. Jaylen Brown's going to go, again, this game against Detroit, he scored 32. He guarded Cade Cunningham most of the game, and Cade had an off night. So I think like Jaylen Brown deserves a lot of credit for what he did on Cunningham. And I'd say right now, like I think, and maybe all of that is contingent that he's got 4 or 5 extra years on Ant, but I just think he's the better player. Then you look at it, more All-Stars. He's been an All-NBA player, and he's been a Finals MVP, right? So I think those are just the things that put him over. It's a hard thing to put back. If I had to pick between the two, though, I think Jaylen Brown. If I put him on the Timberwolves, like, are they that much better? Like, maybe not, but I think they're. Like he'd be a better leader, I'd say that for sure. Like he'd go out there and lead. So
okay. All right. Was there any other games, or was that the last one? Pistons. Celtics?
Yeah, that's the last one. To recap from yesterday. Yeah, that was the one. So
okay. Let's see. I guess that pretty much wraps it up here. Unless you had anything else you want to cover before we go.
Yeah, no, I think a couple games to watch for. Yeah, a couple games to watch for this week. You got Spurs, Houston coming up here in a bit. LA, Denver, which will be a good one. And then kind of sneaky on there, Toronto, Golden State tonight as a late game. I think will be something good to watch. And then, looking towards the end of the week. Wednesday, you've got OKC visiting Milwaukee. That seems like it is going to end in a blowout, but I would like to see, with how the Bucks have been playing, what Giannis kind of brings to it. I know there's been trades thrown around as what if OKC were to trade package together for Giannis. And then to end the week out, I think you've got a couple good ones to look at. Toronto Portland is a good one that's going to come up on Friday, but Houston Detroit on Friday as well. I think that's going to be cool, seeing the Thompson twins go at each other, and then seeing kind of how that looks with KD going at Cade Cunningham as stars there. I think that'll be the one to watch on Friday.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess until next time, we'll go ahead and end it there. So for Buckets, Boards, and Banner, we'll see y'all next time. I'm John. That's Rob. We'll see y'all.